Want to reinvent your life? Listen carefully. When I was 25, I built a company that I ultimately sold for $110 million, unlocking all the success, fame, lifestyle I ever dreamed of. But just the year before, I was flat out broke. I was living in a tiny 300 square foot apartment with no kitchen, no money, and my only friends were the cockroaches living inside the apartment with me. But in that moment of rock bottom, I made a decision to completely reinvent myself, to become the ideal man I've always wanted to be. And just a few years later, I was living my dream life. So the question you should be asking is, how did I do it? What were the exact steps, and how can you do it too? Well, it's a very simple process that I basically accidentally stumbled on, but I've now perfected over the last decade, learning from my own experiences, but also from billionaires and some of the world's most successful people. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, the exact steps you can follow to completely change your life, how to integrate this into your life so it's not just a little burst of motivation that flutters away. You can actually make this a lasting change. Now, there's a famous quote from Lewis Carroll: if you don't know where you want to go, any road will take you there. So the first step of this is actually to identify exactly where do you want to go. And I'm not talking about some generic goal setting like, you want to lose weight or you want to make more money. Lose a pound and you're done. Make $1 more and you're done. No, you need to get specific. You need to set specific goals with a specific timeline that you will actually achieve them in. So to do this, I have a very specific scientific process you can follow to unlock your brain's potential and start to dream what your life could be like in very specific, clear-cut ways. So the first step along this journey is actually to get outside of your routine, outside of your daily patterns. You see, when you're in the same environment that you're used to spending time, that you're used to hang out with, you tend to get the same results. You do the same things, you get the same results. And so it can be very hard to dream bigger, to dream what life could be when you're stuck in the same environment. Not only that, but also studies actually show us that being in places with low ceilings actually limit your creativity. You want to be in a place where there's an expansive, open view. And this is something that my wife and I do actually every year. We get somewhere where we have a large, expansive, open view, and ideally we can also see water. Looking at water, studies show that it actually calms you, that it relaxes your mind, puts your brain in the right mindset where you can start to dream beyond your current circumstances. And in this place, in this state of mind, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna get out a pen and paper, not digital. You don't wanna get distracted and start checking Instagram, and you're gonna start writing. And you're gonna write out everything you could dream of, everything you might want in your life one day. Do not filter in this step. Don't think, I don't know if that's possible. That sounds too hard, that sounds too complicated. You're just writing out everything you want. The rule is if you don't write it down, you can't get it. So make this massive list. And then what you wanna do, because often these lists tend to be 20, 30 things long, you need to actually bring it down to something concrete and attainable. So you wanna go through your list, find 3 things that you want most in life. And these should be 3 things that you can actually achieve this year. Now, do not start getting into the tyranny of how. Start wondering, well, how can I do this? How could I ever achieve that this year? You just, at this stage, want to be identifying the 3 things that you would love to achieve this year, that would light you up if they came true. And once you have these 3 things, you can underline them, you can circle them, make sure they're really clear. Identify, why do you want these things? Maybe you want to make an extra $100,000 this year. Okay, why do you want to make an extra $100,000? Do you want just a higher number in your bank account? Or do you want the sense of freedom that it gives you? The ability to take trips, to take your friends on amazing experiences? Whatever it is, make sure you actually understand why you want the things on your list. You see, it's not enough to just set goals. This is the advice that a lot of people tell you, but the reality is, if you just set goals and you sit around and be mindful and try to manifest these things into your life, you will get nothing. You need to actually take action. And to do that, we're gonna build what's called a massive action plan, or MAP. The idea is simple. If you have a map from where you are to your end destination, you can easily map out the steps to get there. And you just follow the map, follow the journey, and you will end up at your final destination. By doing this now, you're not gonna go at your goals and start overthinking, wondering, oh, what's next in my journey? You build the map first, and then you implement it into your life. So here's the exact formula for making it happen. You have these 3 goals, and they're a year out. Here's where I am today, here's where I wanna be in 1 year. But the problem is, there could be a lot of steps to get you from where you are at to where you want to be in 1 year. So what you need to do is break these down into digestible chunks. And the way you do that is by dividing your goals into quarters. Every 90 days, you want to map out, where on this goal should I be? Let's say your goal is to lose 20 pounds in 1 year. It's pretty easy. You could say, quarter 1, 90 days from now, I want to have lost 5 pounds. Quarter 2, I want to lose 10 pounds. Quarter 3, 15 pounds. Quarter 4, 20 pounds, so on. You get it. It's not rocket science. Break down your goals into digestible 90-day chunks that you can attack. You need to map out what actions are actually going to get you there. And this can be really overwhelming for some people. You might think, I just don't know how to achieve that goal. I don't know what the next step is. I don't even know what the first step is. This goal is so outside of my realm of possibility. That's fine, actually. It sounds like maybe then if that's your case, your first goal is to figure out how to do this thing. So let's say, again, your goal is to lose 20 pounds and you have no idea what to do. Well, maybe your first step is going to be to go buy a diet book. Maybe it's going to be to contact a personal trainer and say, hey, here's my goal. I don't know how to get there. Can you show me the steps that I could follow to get there? And ideally, again, the more specific here, the better. Don't say, I'm going to work out. Say, I'm going to work out for 30 minutes, 3 times a week. To complement that, you also need to kind of do a little bit of evaluation on your life and figure out what habits do you need to stop doing. For example, if your goal was to save $100,000 by the end of the year, well, then you might need to look at your lifestyle and say, maybe I should stop going out to eat 5 times a week. Or if you want to lose 20 pounds, maybe you should stop eating 3 tubs of Ben & Jerry's every week. This stuff isn't rocket science. Your brain and your body already knows the answers. You just need to sit down and actually dedicate the time to figuring out what is the next step in your journey. So now you have 3 specific goals that you want to achieve this year. You have actions you can take in a 90-day chunk to move you there, but there's a big problem. You see, have you ever set a goal that you were so convinced you wanted to achieve and then you barely made any progress on it? You're not alone. It's actually a natural phenomenon. Research shows that for people who set New Year's resolutions, 23% quit by the first week. 43% quit by the first month, and only 9% of people who actually set New Year's resolutions achieve even one of their goals. So rather than trying to brute force your way to your goals through, insane motivation or discipline, channel your inner Jocko, that's just gonna wear you out. What you actually need to do is find a way to make it so that reaching your goals becomes inevitable. It's like there's a magnet out there pulling you towards your goals. So you're not relying on your own strength, but you are naturally pulled towards achieving your goals, and it becomes inevitable. So to do that, we need to take advantage of one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and it's the power of our surroundings. And I can say without a shadow of the doubt, if there's one fundamental law that has really changed my life, it's the law that you become the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. This is why when I wanted to start a software business, I didn't sit in my dinky little home in South Carolina. I flew out to San Francisco because at the time, that was the place where people were making their dreams come true by building software companies. But before you go booking flights, there's an easier way that's gonna get you to your results much faster and save you a ton of money. So if you wanna build an environment that naturally pulls you towards your goals, just like setting our goals, you need to identify what are the environments that you actually need to be in. Who are the people that you need to be around? What are the news sources that you need to watch? Are there certain people that you should be reaching out to? Are there books that you should be reading? Are there conferences that you should be going to? Identify all the possible places where you could go and surround yourself with people that are already on the path or ideally have achieved the things that you want to achieve in life. Now that I'm making YouTube content, my goal is to just be the best YouTuber I can be possible. I want to add as much value to you guys as possible. So what have I done? I cold email YouTubers, I send them DMs, and I say, hey, listen, I want to learn from you. I give them my background. I'm a successful business owner. I'd love to share my journey in building that, and I'd love to also learn about your journey as a content creator. Now listen, 90% of the time, I get flat out ignored. It's fine. But the 10% of the time that people actually respond to me and hang out with me, I have met amazing people. Just yesterday, I was on a friend's podcast. He has over 1 million followers online, and I'm learning from that with my 3,000 followers right now. Thanks for watching. Now, whenever I want to achieve a goal, my very first step is after I've identified where I want to be, broken it down in 90-day chunks, I start reaching out to people. I say, I want to be around these people. I want to soak in. I want to see how do they speak about things. I'm just constantly absorbing the mindset of these people, and I know that it will bring me to their level. And I have to admit, as an introvert, this scares the crap out of me. It's not something I like doing. I don't feel great about cold emailing people and asking them to hang out, but I just know that it's so powerful. I'm just shameless about it. But it's not enough to just surround yourself with people that you want to be like. You need to do another step, which is a little more painful. You need to identify who are the people, what are the things, what are the places I need to cut out of my life if I'm gonna be achieving this goal. When Tony Robbins went to his mentor, Jim Rohn, and said, hey Jim, I wanna be rich, what should I do? His advice was, well, go find out what poor people read, and then don't read those books. As funny as that is, it highlights a very valuable truth. You see, if you're like me and you don't come from a rich family, you don't come from a rich background, you're not surrounded by people that are really playing the game of life at the highest level and achieving their dreams, what you will find is that you probably have surrounded yourself with people that have a very low vision for the future, for their own lives, and have a low vision of the future for your life. And if you start trying to strive and achieve more, they will remind you, hey man, like, what are you trying to do? Why? You trying to be better than us? Like, come on, man, like we grew up together, like let's be real. That's not for people like us. These conversations will eat away at your progress and eventually kill your progress. It's probably the number one reason why people don't make it out of poverty is they don't know how to get out of a situation where they have all these negative influences on their life. So I'm not encouraging you to just cut off friends entirely, to just, stop talking to your family, but you do need to take an honest look at where are you in life, who are the people that are around you, and if your closest friends don't have a better future for you in their mind than you have today, you probably need to cut them out. They're probably not actually your best friends. They're friends that are only here for the ride while it's convenient, while it's fun, while you're sort of doing like-minded things, and they won't want to grow with you. Now, the fourth step is to actually integrate all this into your life. You might have a big vision for your life. You might have big goals, but if you don't find a way to constantly reinforce these goals, to integrate all of your actions towards those goals, what will inevitably happen is society will program your life for you. The world spends trillions of dollars every year trying to get you to care about that latest celebrity affair or the new iPhone that's basically just like the old iPhone, but 7% faster if you do this one specific thing. So the only way you're actually gonna be able to program your life and go for the things that you want, not what everyone else is telling you, not what society is trying to make you care about, is to find a rhythm and a routine to integrate this all. So to do that, you really need three specific things. First is what I call a vision and proof board. The second is a smattering of reminders all over your house, all over your environment to constantly refocus your mind. And the third is actually just a schedule, a routine, a rhythm that you can stick to. So here's how you actually build a vision and proof board. You may have heard of a vision board before. A vision board is basically you put visual representations, images of things that you want in your life. So if you want a specific car, be that car. If you want a house, it's that house. If you want a dollar amount in your bank account, you can go find a picture or Photoshop your bank account to have that dollar amount, and you print it out and you put it on the wall. For years I had this white Porsche 911 on my wall. It was right above my bed. It was the first thing I'd see when I wake up. It was the last thing I see before I went to bed. And I would just look at it and dream of one day having it. And then one day I was able to buy that car cash, just to remind myself dreams actually do come true. But you also need the proof side. So the proof side are things that you've already achieved in life that you one day thought were just a dream. This could be, your first job, a college degree, anything that you can look back and say, this was once just a dream in my life, and now I've made it a reality. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. What you're trying to do is when you look at this board, you need to remind your brain that you are the type of person that achieves things that you set out to do. Sometimes in your worst moments, you just look at it like a doubt board, like I'm never gonna achieve these things. But if you have some proof in there, it just helps you believe that you can go from those things you've already achieved to those things you want to achieve. Now, the second thing you need to do is just build in reminders of your goals. You want to make it so that it's not an effort to remember what your goals are. Most people set goals and then a week later they've already forgotten. So what you want to do is you want to put your goals around your house or in different areas that you might be reminded. Some things I like to do is I'll set an alarm, and my alarm, if you have an iPhone, the text can be one of your goals. So when you wake up and turn your alarm off, it's reminding you, hey, here's one of your goals. You can set your 3 goals as your background screen on your phone. So whenever you look at your phone, you're reminded of what you're working towards. Or what I used to do is I would always put a sticky note under my monitor at work, and it would just have my 3 goals for the year. Maybe it's a good day, maybe it's a bad day, but I'm constantly being reminded just below my workspace, hey, here's why you're going through this. Here's the bigger vision in mind for the work that you're putting in today. These little reminders can make a massive difference in just constantly reorienting your life towards your goals. And then the last thing you need to do is you actually need to schedule in time to work on your goals. See, what will happen is if you don't actually put on the calendar ahead of time to specifically dedicate to these things, life will be happy to fill those things up. Your friends will want to hang out. Your coworkers will want to grab a drink after work. And what you'll find is that you thought you were going to achieve all these things. You were super hyped up, you had the vision, but you never actually sit down and do the work. So what I do is every Sunday, I sit down and I look at my week ahead and I schedule blocks of time to work on the specific actions that I know I need to be working on in this 90-day period to achieve my goals. So it could be I'm gonna work out, and I'm gonna put that on my calendar. When am I gonna work out? One of my goals right now is I'm studying Mandarin Chinese. So on my calendar every day, there's a little block. Here's when I'm gonna study Mandarin Chinese. And then I fit my life around that. Yes, I still go out. Yes, I grab dinner with friends. Yes, I do all these things, but I'm not overlapping and overwriting my goals by doing those things. I just say, I will do it an hour later, or I'll move things around. I make my goals a priority. But there's still one more step, and it's probably the most important step of this whole process. See, I've been privileged enough to meet and hang out with dozens of billionaires. And one of the weird habits I've noticed basically every billionaire has is they always take immediate action when they decide to do something. So sometimes I'll tell them about a book I just read. I'll say, hey, this is really great. I think you should check it out. They won't say, that's a good idea. I'll think about it. No, on multiple occasions, whip out their phone, pull up Amazon, order the book on the spot. Or maybe we're talking about a new restaurant. They'll text their assistant on the spot and say, hey, find me a reservation for this restaurant in the next 2 weeks. These billionaires recognize the fleeting fickleness of motivation. So when you are in this beautiful space of inspiration and you want to start achieving these things, you have to take action towards your goal immediately. So whenever you're in this beautiful space of inspiration, you've set your goals, you have a grand vision for your life, and you want to achieve these things, you don't need to do this Herculean effort where you push the ball up the hill the whole way. All you need to do is just push the ball a little, get it rolling down the hill actually, and once you have momentum towards your goals, naturally your body and your mind will want to follow that and follow through on your commitments. So what you want to do is come up with one tiny little baby action that you can take today, or ideally within the next few minutes or the next hour, towards each of these goals when you're going through this exercise. So if your dream is to start a business, maybe you're going to buy an audiobook on how to start a business. If your goal is to build a rental property empire, maybe you're going to reach out to one realtor in the area that you're thinking about and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a rental property in the area. Could you tell me sort of what the market's looking like, what you're seeing, what trends are coming up, and how you feel about the current state of the market given the interest rates, or whatever. You're gonna just take this small little action, and by doing that, you're rolling the ball down the hill. You will be so much more likely to actually follow through. Now, if you're still watching, you are one of my people. You're the kind of person that wants to make their dreams a reality. So I wanna actually give you a little coaching and help you take that first step. What I want you to do is pull up your calendar and actually find, when can I sit down and work on myself? When can I dedicate a day to actually get out of my environment, to go be inspired, to look at that ocean, to see that view, and work on myself? We go through life so automatically sometimes that we just kind of drift aimlessly, letting the world program us, and we don't actually build in the time to make sure that we're getting the most out of this limited life we have. So just decide, when are you gonna do this? Is it gonna be this weekend? Is it gonna be tomorrow? Is it gonna be today? Just put a date down and commit to doing this. You don't have to do all the steps now. Just find out when you're gonna do this, put it in the calendar. Now, if you want a little bit more behind the scenes on my journey and how I actually applied this and went from that place where I was flat out broke to ultimately $110 million, I just filmed a video walking you through my whole life story. Not only my biggest wins, but also my biggest failures and the lessons that can change your life. I'm gonna put the link right over here, so why don't you click that and I'll see you there.